Sara Blicavs, after 5 years, the OG is back.
Yeah, we're here and we're happy and we're ready to go.
Welcome back. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. The sun's out. I can't complain, you know. I could complain a little bit. I could be outside tanning right now, but I'm here instead and I would much rather be here. Don't you worry.
So happy you are here. It was a massive round one. We've got so much to talk about today and looking ahead to round two because it is the first leg of the Michelle Team's Cup on Wednesday, tomorrow. The Boomers and the Flyers. And I know you get yourself up for this one.
Yeah, we have to get ourselves up for this one. We hate the Boomers when we in season, of course. Individually, they're lovely people, but when it comes to game time, we can't stand them. It's a massive rivalry. You know, it's like the Melbourne Phoenix rivalry, you know. This one's been going longer.
Yes.
But super exciting, ready to play. We had a great atmosphere, a wonderful crowd on Saturday. And if we can, you know, have that turnout and have a good support system, we'll be fine.
We'll talk a lot about that coming up, but we will have a bit of a wrap of round one to start off with. It started basically a week ago. It feels a lifetime ago over in Perth with the Boomers getting a really gritty win over the Lynx in round one, but it was very entertaining opening round, very high scoring, including your game, which we'll zero in on. But what did you think of the state of play in round one?
Yeah, as you said, very high scoring, which can only mean one thing, probably no defense. I know that's something our team struggled with, but it's totally, you know, round one. That's exactly what you would expect. Everyone's nervous, they're firing, they're coming out, they're getting their shots up, they're trying to find their groove straight away. And as we've said, you know, three out of 5 games over 100 points. So it's amazing for women's basketball, and it would have been great for the crowds and the fans to watch.
I can just hear in my head so many of the coaches doing that chant, you know, the crowd does, defense.
Yes. Defense, question mark, where was it?
Where was it? So many storylines to talk about as well, which we'll get into. But I want to ask you what caught your eye in round one. Was it something that was in your win over Adelaide? Was it something else that you saw throughout the opening round? I mean,
I could say a lot of things about our win, but I'll shy away because it's a bit biased. When I was watching the Melbourne Boomers game and the Perth Lynx, so obviously game one, the grand final rematch, for me, Lauren Scherf stood out big time. You know, 17 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, almost up in the triple-double territory, which as we've
what would you prefer, Sherfie? 30 plus points or a triple? Because you were flirting with. I reckon it's a triple, even though she might have swapped for Sammy's 30.
Exactly right. As we've spoken about, we got asked a question earlier in the WNBL launch day. Would you rather a triple-double or 30-plus points? And Lauren Scherf said 30-plus points. So she's probably not happy with his performance. But
she doesn't want a damn triple. She was the only player to say 30-plus points.
That's it. Exactly right. But no, I was really proud of her. You know, she's potentially Australia's next big coming through and, you know, showing a lot of poise and control and calm out there and really taking the game on her shoulders. She looked really good for me. And then on the other end of that, I mean, obviously, Sammy, 30 points, you know, that's a regular occurrence now, Sammy, so anything below 30 will be upsetting. But Christy Wallace, I mean, she got 24 points. She was super aggressive, but for me, it was her shooting at 76%, 10 from 13, you know, obviously taking smart shots, making them and just playing how Wally plays.
Sherfie, I love this story and we've spoken a lot about her winning a Commonwealth Games medal with the 3-on-3 this year, but she has been around this league for a while. Did you play with her at Dandenong?
I did for a couple of seasons, yes, but she was super young then.
Yeah, and then goes and wins championship at Canberra with some of the greats. And she's really found her groove at Perth and she's been great in NBL 1. She's found a niche in 3-on-3. And I just love to see her fulfilling her potential because we know that she's been threatening to do it for a few years. I love your call about, you know, the Opals. She's had a taste of that. There could be some changes, you know, to the Opals heading into Paris, but there always is changes because of players putting pressure on its selection. So love this story and hope that Sherfie has a great season.
Yeah, exactly right. She keeps playing with confidence and, you know, her coach obviously letting her have a bit of a green light. I think it's only going to benefit her immensely. And like you said, no offense to the Opals bigs, but they are getting a little old.
Your words, Sara Blicavs.
My
not
words.
mine. Not mine.
Still in very fine form, may I add.
Oh, of course. Bronze medal winning form. We'll talk about that too a little bit later. Someone else that has had a taste of opals this year is Steph Reid, who's forced her way into those games against Japan early in the year off the back of strong WNBL form. 14 assists.
Yeah, hello.
Hello. She's a great story. You played with her, Dandenong and then Flyers?
Flyers.
First season Flyers?
Yeah, Flyers,
Last season Dandenong, first season Flyers?
Yeah, potentially.
Or maybe just first season Flyers. But that was a super team. You had Steph Reid and Annalee Maley coming off the bench that year. She's such a hard worker.
Yeah.
She's got such a great attitude, a brilliant WNBL season last year, and love that she forced her way into the Opal squad off the back of that. And I think the sky's the limit for Steph Reid.
And I think the word force is perfect for her. And I love that she's aggressive and she doesn't care who she takes on. She'll bring it to each and every one of us. And, it's really showing up in her performance. And I think Townsville has been a great team. Shannon, amazing for her. And she's a great human too. So keep going strong. And again, that point guard spot is always up for grabs as well. And I know there's a few that are going to be at it this year. So there's a lot of competitiveness this WNBL season.
Someone else who will be looking to get back in the Opals is Lauren Nicholson. And it was a flashback to 2020 hub season in Townsville with her performance at the weekend, 35 points, 6 of 9 from the three. That is the Lauren Nicholson that we know and love. And it's great to see her back healthy because she had some injury issues throughout last season.
Yeah, exactly right. Tough year for her last season. So what a way to start at 35 points as you do. I'm sure Steph Reid probably got most of her assists from Lauren Nicholson as well. And another question is, what was Canberra doing on that game? I can openly say that because I'll trash talk Jade Melbourne any day.
Oh, well, Jade Melbourne is injured, so we need to be nice. Did you not know this?
No.
Oh, she's hurt her ankle. So we've had two, and we'll talk about Gemma Potter, but it was so much excitement for the Caps going into their weekend. Of course, they played Bendigo first up. Gemma Potter, it's just such a terrible story, and we send our love to Gemma. Her return WNBL game from an ACL injury. She didn't even make it through the end of the first quarter, doing the ACL in her other knee. So 2 ACLs in 18 months, and your face is kind of summing it up right now because it's, I think, 5-year anniversary of you doing your ACL. You've been here, you know how it feels.
Yeah, it's heart-wrenching, honestly. Poor girl. Like, I couldn't even imagine what it's like to do 2. I know what it's like to do 1. But yeah, to go down with another one, and obviously for her, she would have known straight away that she's done it. And, she was playing well. I played against her in the NBL 1 season and, she was really finding her groove again. And she's a very handy player with a lot of potential. And, it would have been just heartbreaking for her. So sending her my love. I don't personally know her that well, but you never want to see anyone have a long-term injury. I just think it's the worst thing ever. So I really hope she's okay. And, sometimes injuries make teams play better, and you never know, Canberra might come out firing this weekend.
We mentioned Wally earlier. She's drawing inspiration from Wally because they were housemates and teammates at the Caps previously. No one's done the comeback from 2 ACLs in that time frame better than Wally, given just this year alone, WNBL 6 Woman of the Year, WNBA debut with Atlanta Dream, and then part of your Rose Gold Opals performance at the World Cup. So she's got someone in her corner to really guide her in how to make the comeback, because a lot of people tout Gemma as someone, she's 20 years old, so she's a baby, as someone who has the potential to represent the Opals in the future. So anyway, back to Caps. That was certainly deflating for them Friday night, and then they go up to Townsville and Jade hurt her ankle, so we're waiting for some confirmation on scans there, but fingers crossed, because Jade Melbourne is the goat of humans, but it would just be disaster.
She's the goat of humans, yes.
She's the bee's knees.
Yes.
It would be, just all the cliches here, Blicky, but it would be so deflating for the Caps, a very young team, to lose their best 2 young players in the space of the opening weekend.
Yeah, exactly right. And Jade Melbourne being their point guard too, and that's a spot that I know she's really taken and wants to learn in, and Veerley would have been perfect for her. So hopefully it's not too bad, and she can come back stronger. And, sometimes injuries are a good thing. You can sit out and you can watch and you can become smarter anyway. And, she's a great player. She'll be back no matter what.
Veerley, maybe playing coach?
Oh, imagine that.
I think she's still got it.
bring her to the WNBL show. Let's ask her firsthand.
Yeah, we'll have to put it out to her and see. She would still have it.
She'd be itching, wouldn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching her
I think it's possible.
Throw me out there, coach. Oh, I am the coach. Let's go out there.
Let's go. Dakota Cohen, one of their imports, had a good weekend. So we'll talk a bit about imports because they made their mark across round one. But let's move on to your game at the weekend. So much was going on at the State Basketball Centre. The Flyers' new home, return of the GOAT, Lauren Jackson, to the WNBL. The queues were outside the State Basketball Centre. The merchandise stand sold out. What was it like to be part of that atmosphere?
It was incredible. Flyers did it so well. And like you said, there was queues miles long. And, I mean, the stands were full. And what was great, like you said, with the merchandise, I mean, everyone was wearing Flyers shirts. That's super cool. We've done a great job of really building our club. And obviously Lauren helps. You know, Lauren's great. She's phenomenal. So she brought in a lot of that. But just amazing atmosphere. And yeah, I'm really rapt to be part of this team now.
So Kayla Thornton is your second ever import because you've only ever had one import in the 3 previous seasons, Mercedes Russell, which was a pretty
big import.
Pretty good one. But Kayla Thornton, we knew she was going to be good, but just watching the first few minutes, I thought, okay, she's a stud.
Yeah, I think that's why Cheryl's always shied away from imports because we got Mercedes and she was incredible and now it's like you can't go back from there. But managing to find Kayla and, you know, she's a great human as well, which is unreal. She's fitted in perfectly with our program. And I mean, her intensity on defense, offense, getting a bucket when we need a bucket, taking it in her hands and just going with it. And phenomenal player. So she's going to be unreal for us. And a very tough one for opponents.
Well, it was an excellent win for the Flyers. It was a high scoring game. I was super impressed with Adelaide too. They'd put up some massive scores in preseason games against Perth. 98, I think, in the first one against Perth where they tied. But the big story out of this game was the 18-year-old straight out of the COE, Izzy Borlase, 25 points, 10 of 12 from the field, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals.
Where was our defense?
That's actually what I went and congratulated Cheryl on the win after the game. I said, and how good was Izzy? Like, it's been a long time since an 18-year-old has put up numbers like that I thought it was her debut, but she did play a few minutes last year, so her second WNBL game. And Shez was just like, well, where was our defense? I was like, okay, Shez.
Cheryl would have been fuming. Yes. I won't lie. I was actually shocked when I saw the stats after the game and I couldn't believe that she got that. But, you know, she was someone that, again, took it at us, had no fear. I mean, she's coming up against big guns. Yes, she's on the guards, but I mean, you've got Lauren Jackson in the key. You've got people like myself around her as well, and she's still taking it at us. And a lot of her scores came from inside the paint as well. So good on her. I mean, she's obviously one for the future, and, you know, this is the time to prove yourself, and she's doing that.
I spoke to her and Nat Hurst after the game. Not sure who was more nervous because Natty, going into her first game as head coach, was absolutely packing it before the game. And I'm like, come on, Natty, like, you've got to get yourself together for this team.
Right.
So I'm not sure who was more nervous, the 18-year-old about to take on some of the greats in Australian basketball or Nat Hurst. But I think Nat has definitely put a lot of confidence in Izzy to just go out there and play her own game. And you go from playing like 2 minutes or something last year in a game to playing 30 minutes and putting up a huge performance like that. It was such a great story.
Yeah, absolutely. Super rap for her. And obviously the team looks very calm and relaxed with Natty. So I think she's fitted in great. And she's also probably another player coach in the making as well, in case anyone gets injured for Adelaide.
They've got a lot of guards at Adelaide.
They do. They do.
Let's take a look now at round 2, because the good thing about these Wednesday night games is the week comes around pretty quickly. It doesn't get any bigger than this. The Boomers and the Flyers in the Melbourne Derby. It is the first leg of the Michelle Timms Cup, State Basketball Centre. Wednesday night will be the place to be. You mentioned the throwdown in NBL terms a bit earlier. What's the feeling really like between the two teams? Because players have gone between the teams over the years. For example, Christy Wallace went from the Flyers to the Boomers this year. Your great mate Carly Ernst has gone from the Boomers to the Flyers.
Cole's been a Boomers to the Flyers.
I don't think you would ever play for the Boomers.
No, I'm a very loyal girl.
You are though. You've always said that though, that you're very much Southside, and that comes into play when you guys face off. So what is the rivalry like? Is it real?
Yeah, it's massive. This is the one team that you just do not want to lose against. I mean, you don't want to lose ever, but it's just so competitive, and it's bragging rights, and, you know, knowing that they're cross town, they're only 20 minutes away from us. And
are they there now though, because you're at their old home?
Yeah. Oh, I know. And that's kind of weird too.
Yeah.
A lot of them have actually, you know, treated our home court as their home court for a while as well.
Yeah. Is that weird going in that different room? Because you had to go in the home rooms last weekend.
I know. It's so odd.
Yeah.
You know, and we only just took all the signage down from the Melbourne Boomers change room too, and turned it into the Flyers room. So it's, like I said, there's a lot of tension and heat between the two teams, and something that we're super excited about. And I think what's even better is both teams bring in big crowds, and the atmosphere will be incredible. And, you know, we know it's going to be a massive physical game as well, and just one that we want to win so badly.
So they swept you last year, I think. Yes.
Yeah, they did. Thanks for bringing that up.
You're welcome. And then the year before we were in the hub, so I don't think we played
them.
You did, but did you play for it in the hub?
I don't think so, because it was only 2 games of the regular season.
Yeah, and then you did. You swept it the year before.
Yes.
In your first season.
Yeah.
Okay,
we've got the one-ups.
Got to get your hand back on the cup.
Yeah, exactly right. And I think it's because you know, we're probably tipped to be up there to win the championship, but same with Boomers. So it's 2 of probably the better teams coming into this game as well. And I mean, their starting 5 is elite, and it's something that we have to be super prepared for. And like I said, there's a lot of scoring power with the Boomers. I like to think Flyers have a lot of scoring power as well. So it might come down to defense this game.
Fancy that. Chris and Cheryl might want a bit of D-play.
Basketball contains defense? What?
Who knew? You mentioned the Boomers being star-studded, and they are, but they've got early injuries. Tess Madgen, of course, your captain from the Opals, and Lily Scanlon. But they came out against Perth and just showed so much grit to get the job done. We know that they've got depth. Tiffany Mitchell back in the league. She had an incredible game, her highest score in the WNBL, so great to have her back in the competition. Kayla, Wally, Mia Murray, like the list goes on. So even though they're missing some players, you know they're going to be super tough.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're just all playing really well together and playing with a lot of confidence as well. Tiff Mitchell just looks like it's so easy for her out there right now. So if we can get the job done on her, trying not to give too much of our scout away, but like I said, defense will be a massive focus for us.
So we'll finish with this, Blicky. Why will the Flyers beat the Boomers and go 1-0 in the Michelle Timms Cup series?
Why not? Great answer. Yeah, we'll leave it at that. Moving on.
Great content, as Chris Blitzarves would say.
Chris Blitzarves, giving him a shout out. Good day, bro. How are we?
We've got to get to the second best Blitzarves first, but we'll talk more about your mob later.
Mama B being first best Blitzarves.
Oh, of course. Previous guest on the WNBL Show. Remember when she was inducted to the Hall of Fame?
She was so nervous.
Yeah, she was. Bless her. Yeah. Let's move on now and have a look at the rest of the round. We'll quickly touch on Friday night, Townsville and Adelaide. In Townsville, where it was hot last week with the Fire going big to open their account. You played Adelaide. How do you see that one unfolding?
I actually think they'll be a really good game. It's hard because, again, it's only round 2. We've only played Adelaide. But just from what I've seen, you know, Townsville's starting 5 especially, Hawkins, and I know
she was good.
Yeah, she was good. Yeah, and she's only going to get better. But I also think Samuelson may not have had her greatest game, but I know that she can absolutely light it up. And so one day, hopefully not against us, but she will come out and absolutely be firing. So, but for me, I think probably Adelaide will have that one.
Really?
Oh, Yes.
Okay.
I'm not sure. I don't know.
I'm going Townsville.
I'm 50-50 now.
I liked what I saw from them in round one and very much getting 2020 Hub vibes. I know they came runner-up to you, but they were sensational that season. So I think they're getting back to those areas as we move on now to Saturday action. Sydney, after strangely having a bye in round one, so weird, they are champing at the bit to finally be out on court after a great preseason. They're off to Bendigo to take on the Spirit, who opened with 2 wins in round one.
Yeah, Bendigo.
Yeah, let's start with Bendigo first, the home team.
Well, as you said, 2-0, absolutely firing right now. But to come out and play Sydney, I think in round 2 is scary because they haven't played yet. So Bendigo are on a high right now, 2-0, but Sydney are ready to go and ready to play. And we played Sydney in a preseason game as well, and a lot of talent there.
They did a number on you, didn't they?
Settle down, okay?
They did. Right? They beat you and the Boomers in consecutive days.
Good on Sydney. I'm so proud of them.
I'm so proud of them.
But if I was Bendigo, I would be nervous because I know Sydney are raring to go. They're going to be super excited. And like I said, they've got a lot of fiery scorers and a lot of talent there too. So I actually can't pick it. Maybe Bendigo will win that because they have had some few games to get used to it. And Sydney are super young, where Bendigo have a lot of, vets. Kelly and Kelsey are always going to settle their train when it gets out of control.
Oh my gosh. And Kelsey Griffin, KG23, back like she never left in Bendigo colours.
And how old is she? You would not even know, right?
Yeah, you can't say that because anytime anyone mentions her age, and she's not even near the oldest player in the league.
She's phenomenal.
But it's this weird thing that people try to make out she's old. And it's like a red rag at a bull.
Yes.
Do not say that. Look what happened. I heard one of the commentators mention her age and I thought, what are you doing?
Settle down. I know. She's still playing like she was when she got recruited to come out to Australia.
In that first season at Bendigo.
Yeah, her mentality, I've been privileged enough to play alongside her and learn from her, and her mentality, her basketball brain is phenomenal. And the way she's literally a definition of a professional athlete.
Mm-hmm. And competitor.
Yes.
Just a competitor.
Huge. Does everything so well,
Like who never appears on TV before and does a performance like that on sideline at a World Cup?
She is great at everything.
Is there anything Erin Griffin will be listening and watching? Erin, I'm looking at you down the barrel. If there's anything Kelsey's bad at, could you let us know?
I'm going to say it's probably cooking because I know Erin's the cook there.
Erin is the cook there. So Bendigo, perfect, literally, opening weekend for them. We had Annalee here last week. So new coach, some new players. They retain Annalee, their MVP. They've got your best mate, Tessa Lavey, to come in after AFLW. It was a perfect start, wasn't it? Because they've got a win on the road. They get a win at home.
Yeah.
And now they play Sydney. Really excited about Sydney. They showed some great signs in the back end of last season. We know they had disruptions with imports. They had injuries. Shyla's prime. Tiana's back. Keely's looking great. Emma Clark, one of their big recruits, she has a knee injury, but they're hoping she'll be back on court in round 3. So I'm going to go Sydney there, but very much looking forward to that game. As we move on to another game on Saturday, Perth Lynx and the Caps back in Perth. Double headers for both teams last weekend. Someone's going to win and get their season campaign underway with a victory. Who do you reckon it's going to be?
I think Perth Lynx are probably too angry from the 2 losses, and I think they'll probably come back and get the win. I mean, I can't see Sammy wanting to lose again. So, yeah, watch out. She's probably going to get big buckets this week.
There are a couple of great highlights from Perth's opening round, particularly Chloe Bibby. She had 28 points against Bendigo on Sunday. Love that she's back in the league. Have really enjoyed watching Amy Atwell start to her WNBL career. And then Alex Sharp had a double-double as well. Love Sharpie. So I think Perth will get the job done at home after a bit of a rough start. And then we finish on Sunday with the Boomers at home, where I'm sure they'll be unveiling their championship from last season. They're hosting Adelaide, who are on the second leg of their big weekend. And it's also the Boomers' second game, but it's a bit later given their first one is on Wednesday. So how do you see that one playing out?
I think that's going to be a really good game. Again, like you said, they've both played double. They'll be the second game of the week. Yeah, you're right, though. Melbourne have had more of a rest, I would say. But I don't know. I think Adelaide really have it in them this year. I think they're playing against them already. Steph Talbot, you know, she'll probably is looking for a good weekend this weekend. And I mean, Mansfield's always a solid point guard for them. And, you know, I think defensively they'll probably match up better than what Perth did against Melbourne. So in saying that, though, I'll probably still pick the Boomers.
Boomers,
yes.
Import watch, we've been talking about imports. Kirsten Bell, I liked the look of her against you guys. And then they've got Jacinta Munro, who's long experienced athletics. So they've brought in someone sort of at the beginning of their WNBA journey, and then Jay Munro, who's got a lot of experience. So we'll see how they settle into the program at Adelaide over the next few weeks. And that is round 2.
Well done.
Well
Nailed
done.
it.
Well done to you, Sara Blicavs. But let's talk more about you, because that's why I got you here.
Of course. We love talking about me.
So we touched on earlier, it is 5 years since we began the WNBL show, but it's 5 years since you did your ACL playing for Dandenong. Like, I think it's 5 years.
From the 10th of November.
How do you reflect on that injury 5 years on?
Yeah, it's crazy. It was definitely life-changing, that's for sure. It took me 13 months out of the game. And I think besides being off court for 13 months, the first year back honestly sucked. That was the hardest part. Trying to come back and then thinking, oh, this is it for me. Like, my brain wasn't keeping up with my legs and my legs weren't keeping up with my brain, and just trying to figure out how to play basketball again. But I'm fortunate I stuck with it and, you know, managed to be a part of some cool Australian journeys throughout it too. So, but yeah, it's wild how quick it's gone, just like that.
So you're a Geelong girl, not originally, but by choice, because you've got a house down there. You play for the Super Cats. You've got your best friends down there too. How much has the Geelong life, did that play a part in the recovery? Like mentally?
Yeah, big time. I'm such a beacher, and that's my happy place. And anytime I'm stressed or, you know, unhappy, I'll go there and just chill out. And that was, super good for me. And I think just having family and friends down there, like you said, and a bit more of a social life, I think people can get really caught up in trying to rehab and being so mentally focused on that day in, day out. It will literally do your head in. So I was lucky enough to have a good balance of still hanging out with mates, being able to relax and not, I guess, take it as seriously as some people do, which, I mean, I was doing my rehab perfectly, but you go through so many setbacks and, you know, rather than doing another weight session on top of your setback, I was like, let's go have a drink. I couldn't handle this. So, it was a big part of it, and I love Geelong so much.
I think, like, just looking from the outside in over that time, because I don't think we really knew each other that well before that 5 years ago. But I think you've been so happy setting up your home and life in Geelong. You've got your friends in your life outside of basketball, which has probably given you perspective with the highs and lows that you've had in the last 5 years with the game. But it definitely seems like it's your happy place, and you focus and commit yourself 100% to basketball, but you still have a life outside of it.
Yeah. I mean, I saw a sports psych when I started coming back from my injury and I started playing again, and that was the best thing I've ever done. And I was seeing him about once a week for almost a year straight, I would say. And I mean, he just teaches you, even though you know there's more to life to basketball, I think until you actually live through it, you don't realize that, and you need to go through something to actually fully understand that. And he's helped me heaps, and just, you know, I used to be a head case of an athlete, and I'm just not that anymore. And I'm totally comfortable. I'm totally calm now in my brain. And I think that's made me a better basketballer for sure.
And then bringing WNBL back into that conversation, Dandenong evolves into the Flyers, and you have been there from day dot. You guys have been successful, but you've really put a lot of emphasis on the group and the people involved. And you love that place. You love the people. And I'm sure that has a huge effect on the basketball you're playing and your happiness. Yeah,
massively. Cheryl's done so well in recruiting in that aspect that she recruits good people only. You don't want any SHIT humans. That's for sure. And I think it's one thing that even last season when we were losing, we still were happy to be there and we still enjoyed each other's company so much, and that's massive. We've never had problems in amongst our team. We've always been such a tight unit, and it makes it enjoyable. I mean, we have to train every single day, you know, for the next 5 months with each other. We see each other every single day. So you have to like each other and you have to be a good human, caring, sensitive of others, and we all are like that. And I think, again, from what I know of Kayla so far, like I've got to know her, you know, quite well, and she seems like she will fit in perfectly, and she also seems like a pretty unreal human.
She's one of you guys.
Yeah. And she's kind of adopting our culture, I think, a little bit now too.
So 2020, you guys win the championship in the Hub, which was just, that feels 5 years ago.
Yes.
We're talking about things
that's
feel 5
wild.
years ago.
I know that we spent 3 months in Townsville. What?
I know. And 2 weeks in quarantine.
I wouldn't mind doing that again. I actually loved it.
It was great, wasn't it?
Because I was by that pool every day.
We found all our little spots to eat and get coffee. But it was an escape, literally, because we were in lockdown here in Victoria. And when we left to go to quarantine in Brisbane for 2 weeks, and it was the 3 Victorian teams and then people like myself who were working on the season. But we went into quarantine, but we could socialise in that quarantine. And it was like a treat to be able to go and visit. You had your coffee machine.
Yeah.
You know, it was a bit of a treat. But anyway, you won the championship that year, and then that elevates you into a 2021 where you go to the WNBA and you have the training camp experience. You have the experience, but then you have, I guess, the devastation of being cut when you're quarantining back in Australia. Take me through the emotions.
Yeah, that was awful. That was definitely probably the worst period of my life, I would say. Getting cut from the WNBA, I could handle that. You know, it is what it is. I know it's a hard thing to kind of get into. But then I think a week into my hotel quarantine, getting cut from the Australian team in the Olympics as well was a massive slap to my face. And, you know, I never expected to make that team, but I just couldn't believe that I didn't make that team. And still having a week left in this tiny ass room with no fresh air, I was going mental. And that was so hard. And for me, I think it's just that's been a big reason as to why I'm so good at realizing that there's more to life than basketball, because I went through my 2 dreams and goals getting cut to feeling worthless. And like I had no idea what I was supposed to do after this. Like that's my life. And if I can't even make those 2 things, what's the point of me, you know, even pursuing basketball anymore? So yeah, once I got myself out of that rut, I decided I would start my own business. So I'm in the midst of starting Sarah Kirsty, if you want to follow it, everyone.
On Instagram.
On Instagram. So yeah, I decided to start my own underwear company, and I'm at the spot where I'm about to get, I guess, all of my kind of all of my underwear in. Sorry, I just had a bit of brain lapse.
Getting all the
product in, and then yes, get photos done, start the website, and I think I'm almost good to go. So it's been a while in the making, but we're at the little pointy end, and I'm about to be a business owner, and I have no clue what I'm doing.
Oh, add that to your Instagram bio.
Oh, I will. Business owner, don't know what I'm doing.
Owner.
Yes.
Let's rewind a little bit back to that day in quarantine, because we were actually having Sunday brunch via FaceTime on the morning. And
yes.
You'd ordered your coffee in and had your food, and I was cooking French toast, and we were on FaceTime, and you got the call from Sandy when we were having breakfast.
Yes.
So you dealt that news with a week to go in quarantine, but a few weeks pass and you get an 11th hour call up to the Olympics to replace Liz Cambage. Take me through, again, that roller coaster of emotion where you've been dealing with the devastation and now you're in the team.
Yeah. That was honestly super hard for me to adjust to, I think, and I'll be completely honest here. I was at that phase where I hated the ovals. You know, I couldn't help it. I mean, I just did. I wasn't a part of it. I couldn't believe it anymore, and I was just filthy, I guess. I was salty. I was very salty. And I kind of had an inkling. I'd heard a caught word that Liz was doing Liz things and that she could potentially not be a part of the team anymore. And a big part of me was actually nervous to get the call up because I didn't know if I wanted to actually go or not because I was that angry still. But then Sandy called me and and she told me about it. And then I ended up speaking with Dad afterwards, and Dad's like, I mean, once you're Olympian, you're always an Olympian, and it doesn't matter how you get there. And I was like, oh, that's kind of true when you think of it like that. It doesn't matter. Like, no one's going to remember that I was technically an emergency, are they? They're going to remember that Liz was pretty crap, and then I got to get the call up, you know? So, yeah, I changed my mentality, and then after about 24 hours, I became super excited, and I got to go to the Olympics and miss all the boring, you know, stuff that you have to do where you work really hard for 6 weeks beforehand and do all the training camps and all the mental stuff.
You parachuted in.
I just parachuted in and got the best 2 weeks of my life.
Because you met them there.
Yeah.
You met them in Tokyo.
And when I met them, because of everything that happened, they were so emotionally exhausted. And then I came in and I was so excited. I was like, so I think, but for me, I turned that into my role where I was trying to give energy to people. And when I was on the bench, I was trying to lift people up, and I just kind of became like a positive light maybe in that negative situation. And, you know, I took that in my stride and ended up really enjoying myself and having an okay campaign as well.
Well, you were just yourself, and that's what you bring aside from everything that you can offer on the court in your position. So I love those words of advice from your dad, because your parents both played for Australia and they've been amazing supports to you, particularly your dad, because I noticed Mama B wasn't at the entire World Cup in Sydney, was she?
No, she wasn't.
You know, because there was a clash of events where Mark Blicavs has to go and play in an AFL Grand Final, and
as you do,
and played in one while we were in lockdown here, so you couldn't get to the 2020 Grand Final, even though they lost. So he goes and wins a flag on what was your off day at the World Cup. Yes. Tell me where the parents were.
So Dad was in Sydney. He stuck with me, bless him, and
was
Mum.
That he stuck with you, or he was stuck with you?
He was stuck with me.
Oh, I thought he stuck with you.
I meant he stuck.
He stuck with you.
And then old Mama B, she went down and got to watch Mark play live, and took Chris, my other brother, as well with her, and got to experience the whole championship win, the premiership. Sorry, not the championship. Forget sports swapping. And then I was getting FaceTimes and photos from them on the field, and then, there's Mark, and then holding the cup. Oh, that's really cool. And then they're all back in Geelong at the club room, still holding the cup and in amongst everyone. And I was super jealous. I was so sad that I got to miss that event. I genuinely was sad. I really wish I could have been there.
I mean, it was an off day. You could have.
I was thinking
should have
about
let you do a FIFO.
Yeah, I know. I guess we did have the quarterfinal the next day, didn't we? Was it there? No, we had a game the next day, though.
You had, because you played Mali the night. It'd been a rough few days.
That's right. Yeah,
you had Serbia the next day.
Yeah.
But you watched in the foyer of the hotel.
I
that
did. It was
fun.
Still good. It was nice to watch and stuff, but it's just something I would love to experience with Mark as well. And but luckily enough, we got to win a rose gold. He obviously has won his medal. I haven't seen him yet though. So as we flew back, he flew overseas. So I'm yet to see him face to face. I really am just waiting for the photo op of him and I with our medals.
Yeah, because do you think, and can he bring the cup? Because the cup needs to meet your medal too.
I think so. Yeah. Well, I think I'll be able to get in there and see the cup as well. I mean, surely. I'll just ask Mark,
Yeah,
they'll let me in. Come on now. I might pay AFLW. No. Just teasing with that.
That was just clickbait. But I loved was it the Serbia game the next day? It was, wasn't it? The Serbia game the next day. Typical Sara Blicavs gets interviewed on the court after beating Serbia, and it's a, stadium full, there were quite a few Serbians there, but stadium full of really Sydney-siders. And just take us back, you gave them a nice shout out, didn't they? Because the Swans got touched up by the Cats.
Yeah, they did. They lost by 80 points. I mean, what are you doing in a grand final? Come on now. And so I kind of, in saying that, I definitely did forget that we were in Sydney at that point. But I was also doing it because, I'm a little bit of a rat bag every now and then. But got interviewed on court, and I just finished my interview with, up the Catters. And I literally got booed by 10,000 people. I mean, I've never heard a stadium that loud, and it was all aimed at me, and they all just being like, boo, like this. I was like, I'm so sorry, I forgot we're in Sydney. Dad said I should have just been like, just flip them the bird.
That's classic Daddy B. Now, Mama B made it up for the finals. She was there the next week. So
Yes.
good to, see her come around.
Yes, we love Mama B. She was
Yeah.
exhausted.
Yeah. But what about the family though? Because you are tight knit, and Chris Blicavs does get forgotten a bit amongst all of this, but he is a goat of the family. He's achieving big things.
Well, the thing is, though, this week, so I was at Worlds, Mark won the premiership, and Chris was in Egypt playing in the 3-on-3 street ball world tournament as well. So he was also doing big things.
Don't you think he got forgotten? Like, where was the stories about Chris? It was all Mark.
I know. Yeah, poor Chris. He does get forgotten a little bit, but I'm super wrapped for him. He got to experience something super cool that we've never experienced, and he's got to go to Egypt now. And so I'm very envious. That's so high on my bucket list. So he's got one up on the family big time.
So what's next for you, Sara Blicavs? Launching the business.
Yes.
You have said, though, that you want to start a snorkel shop. Will that be on the back burner while you start Sarah
was
Christie?
Always my goal. When I was younger, I just thought I would love to retire on a beach somewhere, just, owning a snorkel shop, laying out, live cheaply. I love it. I still love those feels and vibes. So
bowl of chips
potentially,
each day, you'll be
hot
fine.
chippies, maybe a chicken jaffle. Why not?
Maybe a fresh juice.
Drink out of a pineapple.
From what's that place called again?
Oscar
Cooper.
Oscar Cooper.
Oscar Cooper?
Why does that sound like a footballer? Is that a
Probably.
football?
I mean, we really need to go
Oscar
visit them
Coopers,
because
yeah.
they were part of your good luck video
Yes.
that I sent you.
They were, weren't they?
We've never been back since.
We haven't, no. That's right. In Greville Street. Phenomenal
Yeah,
cafe.
No, it's Oscar something else. Anyway, a story for another time. So the snorkel shop, but retirement, surely that's a while off.
Yes. Look, we'll see how the body holds up, that's for sure. But I think it's still, I'd like to think I still have another 4 or 5 years, hopefully.
How old are you?
I'm 29.
Oh, you're not even at the big 3-0 yet.
I know, but I look at Lauren, I just think, who could be bothered,
Oh, no. 41.
I know, but she's still killing it.
I know. Great things. Now, you are the queen of music. You might even be a DJ if you weren't a basketballer.
Okay, I also had aspirations of that, but then I didn't.
That does not surprise me.
And I don't want to throw Liz under the
DJs,
bus,
they're-
but then I just don't want to follow in those footsteps. But I'm always in charge of the music.
Yes, you are.
In the car, in a house party, anything.
Yeah.
Sarah Bear Ferry on the decks.
Do you have a list of your, not a Spotify list, but do you have a list of your DJ work? Like, do you have a SoundCloud?
I have, on my Spotify playlist, Sara.Blicavs. Anyway, all my Spotify playlists are phenomenal.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, I take a lot of pride in them. It's actually my hobby. I spend quite a lot of time doing that.
Curating them.
Yes.
Curating your
Yes.
Spotify content. So let's finish with this, Sara Blicavs. The big game against the Boomers. It doesn't get any bigger than this. So what pumps you up on a Wednesday afternoon? Because the game is at 6:30, so you'll be an afternoon pump
We're
up.
talking about songs.
You're starting to flex. What are your top 3? What's on the Spotify going into the big game against Melbourne?
All right. Well, at the moment, this is what I've been listening to. I can't give you a playlist because, I'm mixing up at the moment. But 3 random, and these are going to be so random for me too. Like you would not expect this.
Can you give the song and an explanation?
Sure.
Why you've picked it?
Sure.
In your 3. Thanks.
So at the moment, what I've re-brought into my life is Place Your Hands by Reef. You know that song?
Yes.
I won't give you a snippet because
We'll insert that here.
I don't want to sing it.
Yeah.
But that came back into my life because I was watching a show. I can't remember what show. And it was on in the background. And I was like, what a tune.
Did you Shazam it or did you instantly remember?
Instantly remember, girl, come on. Anyway, and I'm like, now that the sun's out, it's a great song when driving, I find. Blasting it, great song. Second, this one is so not me because I'm not into pop or radio music, but I've been really vibing this girly ass song, and it's To Be Loved by Lizzo at the moment. Another real upbeat one, just when you want to get happy. I'm like, good
chest
by
flex.
Lizzo. Yeah. She does some good upbeat ones. And then the third one for my little house family out there, baddest of them all, BOTA. It is. So B.O.T.A by Eliza Rose.
Eliza Rose.
Yeah, it's a really girly, housey song that I've been frothing at the moment.
Jeepers. So these are going to get you up for a 4-quarter Blicavs.
I don't like to rev myself up anymore because I find it emotionally exhausts me. So I like to stay level-headed and just be
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Streamline the
You know what
beat.
this means? It's like level-headed.
Yeah, okay.
Not too high, not too low, just
Yeah. Doof, doof, doof. And what about coffee? So, because you love a coffee. So, what do you do for a
Yes.
Wednesday, like a 6:30 game? How many coffees are you going to have?
No, it'll probably be, I'll do a tomorrow morning coffee and then it'll probably be like a piccolo at around 2 p.m, I would say. And that'll be about it.
Do you have a nap?
No, I can't nap during the
Yeah.
day. I'm not a napper. I wake up worse if I nap. Unless I'm dead tired, but no, not a napper.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
There we've got it. The exclusive details to Sara Blicavs.
Brunch with Tessa Levy tomorrow morning. Very important.
Oh, great. So when they lost, didn't they, at the weekend, but they got the double chance?
Yeah, they're playing 140 versus North Melbourne. Richmond Tigers versus North Melbourne, 140 Saturday.
Okay, go Tessa Levy.
Go Tessa Levy.
When will she be back for Ben to go?
Depending on how this game goes, hey?
Could be next week. Could be next week.
Yeah.
She's a freak, isn't she?
Yeah, she's fit.
She's fit.
She's fit.
Oh, best wishes to Tessa Levy.
Yep.
Looking forward to seeing her back with the spirit. So where will you brunch tomorrow?
At her house, apparently.
She's cooking.
She lives a kilometre away from me now, which is amazing.
Oh, that is just disastrous.
Oh, it's fantastic. What are you on about? Get my electric scoot on over and then there we are.
Is she cooking though, or are you meeting there?
No, we're going to cook. When I say we are, I'll probably go there and she'll probably cook.
You're not doing it.
And I will be her support system. On your Levy. Yep, great job. I'm going to sit on your couch.
It's going to be lovely. Well, Blicky, it's been so lovely. Just feels like all is right in the world again, being here with you, WNBL showing.
Brilliant. So natural, so normal.
Will you come back next week?
I'd love to come back.
Okay.
If you would have me back.
I'll have you back. Can't wait to debrief the derby.
Yes, huge. Hopefully with us with a win.
Yeah.
Or else I'll be salty and I won't be here.
Yeah, you'll be saltier than your chippies.
Yes.
Thank you, Blicky. Good luck on Wednesday night against the Boomers. Enjoy round 2. If it's anything like round 1, we've got a lot to look forward to. And just follow us on socials, listen and watch us.
Great.
How does it feel being filmed? It's a bit weird, isn't it?
I love it.
You've been looking down your camera? Yeah.
I actually haven't. I forgot about it. But hey, do you remember our saying from our last WNBL show?
No.
Game on moles.
Oh, I don't know if we can say that here. Gosh, it brings back a lot of memories. We even had a Christmas edition. Do you remember that?
We did. Yes, we did.
We had we didn't even mention Stephanie Blicavs in this show, but I hear she's been getting a few shout outs over the
commentary.
Well, yes,
I hear that all the time.
Weekend.
Yeah, I know.
How does it feel being mistaken for Steph?
I mean, you know what's really upsetting?
You're only an Olympian and a 2-time World Cup medalist? One.
I had Blicavs first. So she's come into Blicavs.
Oh,
And now I'm getting called Steph. But you know what? She has 2 cute children, so it's fine.
yeah. She's the real MVP.
Hey, Megs, keep being you. You're great.
You are too. 4-quarter Blicavs tomorrow
go.
night.